Hello, and thank you for joining us today in our studies of 2 Samuel. Today we are beginning our study in chapter 1, but a couple of things I want to lay out before we delve into the text of chapter 1 this morning. First of all, this is 2 Samuel, and so because of that, it follows directly on the heels of 1 Samuel. But originally, these two volumes were one single book, one volume in and of themselves. They were split far later. So you're going to see that there is going to be almost a pickup as though the other one hadn't even finished yet, which is exactly the way that it is. You feel like you're falling directly into the middle of an account. In 1 Samuel chapter 31, you have the death of Saul. In 2 Samuel chapter 1, you have David finding out about the death of Saul and the death of his son Jonathan. And so you're going to have this continuation. We've not started a new book necessarily. We're continuing the old one. The second thing that I want to point out is the fact that Samuel is not the author of these books. Though they bear his name and though people commonly think of that as being the case. We do not know exactly who the author is, but we need to be mindful of the fact Samuel is now dead and has been dead for a number of years at this point. And so as you come into 2 Samuel, you're not even within the life of Samuel at this point. They bear his name, but they were not written by him. So with those things being said, if you want more details as far as introductory matters and things of that nature, I would encourage you to go and look at the video that we did in introducing 1 Samuel. But with those things said, let's delve into the text of 2 Samuel chapter 1. Beginning in verse 1, we read these words. Now it came to pass after the death of Saul, when David had returned from the slaughter of the Amalekites, and David had stayed 2 days in Ziklag. On the third day, behold, it happened that a man came from Saul's camp with his clothes torn and dust on his head. So it was, when he came to David, that he fell on the ground and prostrated himself. And David said to him, Where have you come from? So he said to him, I have escaped from the camp of Israel. Then David said to him, How did the matter go? Please tell me. And he answered, The people have fled from the battle. Many of the people are fallen and dead, and Saul and Jonathan his son are also dead. So David said to the young man who told him, How do you know that Saul and Jonathan his son are dead? Then the young man who told him said, As I happened by chance to be on Mount Gilboa, there was Saul leaning on his spear, and indeed the chariots and horsemen followed hard after him. Now when he looked behind him, he saw me and called to me, and I answered, Here I am. And he said to me, Who are you? So I answered him, I am an Amalekite. He said to me again, Please stand over me and kill me, for anguish has come upon me, but my life still remains in me. So I stood over him and killed him, because I was sure that he could not live after he had fallen. And I took the crown that was on his head and the bracelet that was on his arm, and have brought them here to my lord. Therefore David took hold of his own clothes and tore them, and so did all the men who were with him. And they mourned and wept and fasted until evening for Saul and for Jonathan his son, for the people of the Lord and for the house of Israel, because they had fallen by the sword. Then David said to the young man who told him, Where are you from? And he answered, I am the son of an alien, an Amalekite. So David said to him, How was it that you were not afraid to put forth your hand to destroy the Lord's anointed? Then David called one of the young men and said, Go near and execute him. And he struck him so that he died. So David said to him, Your blood is on your own head, for your own mouth has testified against you, saying, I have killed the Lord's anointed. Then David lamented with his lamentation over Saul and over Jonathan his son, and he told them to teach the children of Judah the song of the bow. Indeed, it is written in the book of Jasher, The beauty of Israel is slain on your high places, how the mighty have fallen. Tell it not in Gath, proclaim it not in the streets of Ashkelon, lest the daughters of the Philistines rejoice, lest the daughters of the uncircumcised triumph. O mountains of Gilboa, Let there be no dew nor rain upon you, nor fields of offerings. For the shield of the mighty is cast away there, the shield of Saul, the not anointed with oil. From the blood of the slain, from the fat of the mighty, the bow of Jonathan did not turn back, and the sword of Saul did not return empty. Saul and Jonathan were beloved and pleasant in their lives, and in their death they were not divided. They are swifter than eagles, they were stronger than lions. O daughters of Israel, weep over Saul, who clothed you in scarlet, with luxury, who put ornaments of gold on your apparel. How the mighty have fallen in the midst of the battle! Jonathan was slain in your high places. I am distressed for you, my brother Jonathan. You have been very pleasant to me. Your love to me was wonderful, surpassing the love of women. How the mighty have fallen, and the weapons of war perished. Here in 2 Samuel chapter 1, we have David learning of the death of Saul and Jonathan, and we see the levels of mourning and weeping, not just of David for Jonathan, but of those men who are with him as well. When we come back next time, we will examine some lessons from 2 Samuel chapter 1 and look at some of the things that we need to be mindful of in this chapter. But until then, have a good day.